What's up guys, I'm Shane Peterson and this is Off the Rip. We're going to be talking about Glendale Supercross, so let's get into it. So there were some wild moments from Glendale. The riders were getting just a little too sweet. One of those riders was Nate Thrasher. He came up way too short in the rhythm section, ends up ejecting off of his bike. Ejectocito, cut! But the LCQs is where things got real sweet. I think John Short might have seen a piece of candy. After the whoops, he endos going over the bars into the berm. Justin Starling then takes out Clason and reminds him he's in the LCQ, boy. Oh no, wasn't that big of a takeout, but still, it's the LCQ, what do you expect? It's that kind of riding. But then the 250 LCQ said, you ain't seen nothing yet. Off the rip, there's just a crazy first turn pile up, and then Silviera was a menace in the LCQ. He was riding with that all black Air Force NBA young boy type energy, and he took out two dudes in the span of 30 seconds. Even Vince Freeze was probably thinking, hey yo, chill son. And then Jet Lawrence and RJ Hampshire both need to lawyer up because they caught a fat case in Glendale. Fantasy picks, man. Damn! I'm so glad I didn't bet any money on the Super Bowl this weekend because I probably would have lost everything because none of my picks hit this weekend. I didn't get any right. Zero, zit, nada. Not a single one. At this point, I should just stop playing because I'm just making myself mad. But anyway, let's go through it. First place, who I thought was gonna do it, gonna be a 3-time winner this weekend, and he was not, was Jet Lawrence. I thought he had his starts figured out. Thought he was getting this momentum, this mojo, this new mindset of him just focusing on himself in the race, that it was gonna get him to cross the finish line first. But no, he started off 9th, and there was no way of getting to the front when you start off in 9th, especially in a field like this. You gotta start at the front or be in the top 3 in order to be in contention for a win. So that was just kind of out of the question, out of the chances there. So I was like, yeah, you can scratch my first pick. That's not going to happen. But who did get first place was Ken Roxon. He was ripping. He was definitely the fastest guy. One thing I wanted to point out is that he stayed in the 1 minute, 4 second lap time range, pretty much the entire main event. None of the field was doing that, so he was just definitely on another level. And I didn't expect him to do this good, but he is Ken Roxon. He does have these rides, and this was just one of those races where everything clicked for him. The start, the track, his lap time, the speed. And so he was due for a good race like this. We just don't know when that's going to happen. And Glendale was his night. Second place, moving on, Cooper Webb. I put him there in second because I figured he would want redemption from last weekend's result, which was a 4th in Detroit. And his riding so far has been, he's been fast. His qualifying's been good. As a champion, past champion, he knows that he needs to be on the box as many times as possible. But instead, he dropped the anchor early, faded back, and his teammate as well, Eli Tomac, faded. So I don't know what's happening with these Star guys. So you gotta think, is it the bike? I don't know. Gotta start questioning Star. But I just find it weird and peculiar that a guy like Eli Tomac, who's just a beast and one of the most fittest guys out there, is having arm pump like a vet rider. That's my excuse. That's what I'm supposed to use. Eli Tomac can't use that. But anyway, he had his best laps at the beginning to the middle of the race, and then he ended up fading back. But I put him there for 3rd because he does really well in Glendale. And I figured he would want to make up points for what he lost in Detroit by finishing 10th. So he did not. But moving on to 4th place, Aaron Plessingers, who I picked for that 4th place spot, he's been riding super good lately. He's had the red plate for 2 rounds. He just looks super comfortable on the KTM. He's just really gelling, so a 4th place would come easy for AP, or not easy, but he's a top 5 guy, so you can find him there in that top 5 spot. And it looked like he was going to be either in 2nd through 4th, but he tucked the front in that corner and ends up going down, and that was it right there. 5th place, I had Jason Anderson, and it's hard to tell when Jason Anderson's going to do good. And I should have been like, oh yeah, this is his night. He's gonna definitely end up on the podium because, he qualified P1 in practice. But the hard thing with Jason Anderson is that we don't know, or I don't know where he's gonna start at. And there's so many good starters, and he's kind of like inconsistent. It's not like he's always at the front, or he's always gonna be, coming out of the first turn and, top 3. And in this case, he did. It just all aligned for Jason Anderson. And then my wild card pick, I put Justin Cooper, J Coop. He just had some solid rides so far. He puts himself there at the front. So it seemed like a pretty good pick, but he ended up finishing 11th. And he just didn't want me to get the wild card pick because he was like, no, you just can't have nothing. Can't have anything good in life. No, I'm just kidding. Just started getting really bummed and depressed. I want to so badly just talk about everything I just got right. And this is just a terrible weekend. It was a wash. So anyway, let's move on to the 250 class. 250 West Coast, the points are tight. We had 2 red plate riders going into the main event, which was Levi Kitchen and Jordan Smith. And those guys, Smith, Hampshire, and Kitchen, the pace at the beginning was unreal. They were just ripping. They turned the fastest lap time of the night on the 2nd lap, which was a 1:04. And I think the thing between those 3 guys is that it's kind of a who's gonna make a mistake first. The track was just slippery and it reached out and grabbed Jordan Smith a couple times. I think this was Jordan Smith's race to win, and he blew it. You blew it! Because he just seemed like the fastest on the track, but he took some spills, left him in 4th, and giving up that red plate to Levi Kitchen. But the championship is still up for grabs between the 3. There's only 5 points that separate 1st and 3rd. So as a fan, it's an awesome spot to leave off and not see these guys till round 11 in Seattle. So it's gonna be good. That's all I have for now. Thank you guys for watching. Please remember to subscribe, like, and drop a comment. And I'll see you guys in 2 weeks to talk about Arlington. Peace.